there is one number that buyers get catastrophically wrong. You find a business doing $500,000 in profit, and you choose to apply a 3 times multiple. So you offer $1.5 million, it feels disciplined, you did your homework, and that makes you feel as if you've valued the business correctly. Fast forward 6 months down the track, and you realize that $500,000 profit figure was overstated. Valuation's out, and you've overpaid on the business by the price of a house. Everyone obsesses over the multiple, buying a business at 2 times earnings and thinking that it's a steal. But a low multiple on fake earnings is the most expensive mistake in the game. The asking price isn't the price, it's an opinion. And that number is incentivized by 2 people who want that number to be as high as possible. Small businesses trade for anywhere between 2 to 4 times earnings. So the earnings number isn't just one variable among many, it's the foundation that the whole deal sits on. Get it wrong, and the financial integrity of the business is on shaky ground. It affects how much you can borrow, whether or not you can afford it, and if you can even afford to pay yourself with profits, which is the whole reason why you're playing the game in the first place. The day you close, it then becomes your problem. If the earnings value is off, then you've created difficult financial circumstances to operate in. So here's the rule, and I call this the real earnings test. You don't apply the multiple to the number that you're handed. You have to find the real number first, which is what the business is going to make once you own it. You need to strip out all of the storytelling from the broker and the seller and distill what's actually going to persist once you own the business. That becomes a real number, which you apply the multiple to, and never the other way around. Most buyers do this backwards, and this is something that wipes them out. So there are a couple things that I want to cover with you. First is that you really have to understand what it is that you're being shown. You're going to be shown different terms like SDE or EBITDA. And these are part of the phrases that are used to show you what the business produces. What brokers and sellers will do is they'll provide you with normalized numbers. These can include things called add backs. And these are expenses that are added back into the profits to normalize what it should look like for the new buyer. Now, these aren't always accurate. You want to examine every single add back that's being put back into the business. Now, some of these add backs are genuine, and these are benefits that are going to flow to you. It might be things like the seller's phone, the seller's truck, anything that's not technically tied to the actual running of the business, but they've declared for their own personal reasons. Some of these aren't always going to be legitimate in adding back. And these are costs that the business actually must incur in order to run. It's your job to look at every single one of these lines and decide whether or not you need to keep it in or whether or not it needs to be deducted to help you get to the true value of the business. To build on this idea, there could also be other expenses that will only show up once the owner leaves. A common example with this is an owner who currently provides free rent to the business or his operations. If you're buying this business, you're going to want to move it into a new premises, and that's rent that the business isn't currently paying. This has to be accounted for. We're going to work through an example that will show you by getting it wrong how much it actually affects how much you pay for the business and then any debt you might take on when you acquire it. If you buy a business at $500,000 in earnings and you apply a 3 times multiple to it, if you pull it apart and realize that the business is only making $350,000 in predictable earnings per year at a 3 times valuation, that's only worth $1.05 million. So you've just overpaid by $450,000. Now it's likely that you're going to have taken debt to buy this business, and what you've overpaid not only affects the cash flow, but affects how long and how much debt you're going to be paying. Now, I've turned away businesses like this in the past. I had a marquee or tent business under contract. On paper, it looked like it was doing around $250,000 in earnings. It would have fit perfectly into the portfolio that I was building. When I went through the jobs that they were doing every year, I found out that they had 3 jobs that were consistently giving 40% of the gross profit of the business. What that meant was if that business lost those 3 jobs, it actually wasn't going to make enough money to pay any of its fixed expenses. So the whole thing would have been running at a loss. Everything else that this business was doing was losing money. That's just one example to show you how important it is to get the real earnings value. So the multiple is a dial. Once you've got the real earnings of a business, that's when it starts to matter. And the multiple really reflects the risk of a business. Think of it like a draft pick. You pay the top draft picks 4 times. It's a proven performer. It's consistent and always performs. The owner isn't chained to it. It's repeatable. And the systems and processes already work. When you slide down to 2 times, you're really taking a punt. There's a lot of work left in this business until it has all of its risk mitigated. Now, the removal of one thing in the business is what causes the biggest change in earnings, and that's the owner. The owner can be subsidizing a lot of the costs in the business just by their involvement. They're probably one of the best performers. They understand how to keep the ship together. They monitor quality and performance of other team members. And they can even be putting in far more work than what they let on. Almost always, they will be the most important person to replace. And you can't just do that by hiring a manager. If the owner currently works in the business, then you can almost always expect that the true earnings of a business is going to be a lot lower. So really quick, if all these terms are new to you and you really want to learn more about buying a business, then I want you to enroll in my free 21-day email course. Email 11 covers everything on deal lingo, and email 12 goes even deeper on valuation. It's free, the link's in the description, just go and grab it. Now, you don't want to become someone who just overcorrects on absolutely everything. That's a great way for you to lead yourself into never doing a deal. Remember, nothing is going to come to you perfect. Your job isn't to just be cynical, it's to actually be accurate. Some add backs are real money that will come to you, and some revenue is always going to be lumpy. Your job is to find the true number and pay a fair price for it. Don't kill the deal, you just want to see it clearly. So quick recap. Number 1, the real earnings test. Make sure you find what the business actually makes. Apply the multiple after. Strip back the one-off, verify the add backs, check all the jobs that are happening, and accurately allocate what you need to replace the owner. Now, I want to know what the most outrageous add back anyone has seen before. So if you have one, then make sure you put it in the comments. If you want more frameworks from someone who's bought businesses for a living, I put out videos like this every week. There's no hype, no buy a business with no money down, just stuff that actually works. And if you've genuinely got a business in front of you, then I want you to find the link below where you can bring your own deal. I can break it down with you for 20 minutes and see if you've actually got something good on your plate. And if you want more videos, next one is up here.